While there may be indications that the End Bad Governance protest may be suspended following President Bola Tinubu's national broadcast as of yesterday on Sunday, where he urged protesters to embrace dialogue, the protests have actually left behind tales of violence, bloodshed, wanton looting and destruction of public and private properties. Conveners of the End Bad Governance protest, which commenced as at August 1, listed a 10-point demand to the federal government to address the cost of living crisis and hyper-food inflation amongst other demands threatening citizens' survival. On Viewpoint, where we discover perspectives and embrace dialogue, we zero in on the happenings of the End Bad Governance protest in its first phase of the 5 days. I have with me Precious Momodu, who will actually be keen in on certain happenings and occurrences concerning the bloodshed, the wanton looting, just to mention a few. Precious, how are you doing?
I'm doing great.
I believe you're quite conversant with the happenings which has taken place within the first 5 days and also the weekend.
Yes.
So briefly, can you just tell me what exactly, I know you have people in the media industry who have actually been out there also to give you feedbacks.
Okay, so far so good. The protest was actually peaceful in most areas, like that of Songota, Ojota, Ikeja. I didn't see anything violent in Ikeja. But I don't know if you noticed that Lekki Tollgate was trending on Twitter 2-3 days back.
Yeah.
Okay, how it started, a security agency harassed a New Central journalist. The guy was recording, telling people that, okay,
Sorry, not to cut you short. I think we'll bring it up in the second phase of the show.
All right.
Join us in the next phase of the show as we elaborate on the happenings concerning the End Bad Governance protest. But before you do that, you do want to subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us across various social media platforms. Join us in the next phase of the show.
This pepper, so I go screw the rose and rub your face. No matter they tell you so. Turubu, I go. No, let me even talk about Turubu. Turubu na Percy. The protest is going very, very peaceful. The Nigerian police are with us. We are enjoying ourselves here. Something they stop, we are here. We know the agree. We know the agree, yo. We know the agree. Bad government. We know the agree. We know the agree, yo. We know the agree. Bad government. Impossible. Impossible. We know the agree. Bad government. We know the agree. This is Maiduguri, the Borno State capital. Protests erupt just now, and security operatives are trying to disperse the crowd. And then the crowds are very, very aggressive. And we could hear gunshots on the air to see that the protests are the spot. But this is very, very not good for us at all here. We're trying to get some space, safe space to stay. This is the update from Maiduguri now.
now. From Ojota mobilizing themselves. Sunni authority men. Threatening protesters. The police are there with them. Police are there. They are mobilizing. Police are hearing them now. They are threatening protesters, but they are not saying anything. But I want to assure you, the more they mobilize, the more our people going to conquer. Our grievances. We don't want to tell the president. He's going to mobilize more. You can see the jet is flying. Everything is going. When they are doing their horo, when they are doing their horo, we are not afraid of them. They don't. We are not afraid of them. They are seeing them. We ready. We don't learn from NSAS. We don't learn from NSAS. We don't fear them.
Welcome back to the show. Those were clips from the recent protests across the country in the first 5 days from various parts of the country. Precious, I believe you've been quite optically informed now from the scenes or clips which we've seen from various parts of the country, from Ojota in Lagos, just mentioned Dawson. A friend of mine in the typical Benin accent said it was dancing, just to make you laugh a bit. Going forward now, Section 40 of the Constitution actually states that we have a right to protest peacefully, not for it to now be hijacked by miscreants. And also, it also specifies or stipulates that even security agencies also have their own roles to play. We can see from the Lekki toll gate axis there, tear gas was being fired at crowds to disperse or ward them off. But was the tear gas actually necessary when there wasn't actually any violent move?
It was not necessary.
Okay.
It wasn't necessary. You know, these people, like I said, last 2-3 days, they harassed a journalist there. The journalist was trying to make people know that, okay, so far so good, nothing is happening in Lekki toll gate, the protest is peaceful and all of that. And in the video, I saw that some security agencies, the policemen came and was like, what are you doing? What are you recording? The guy was like, okay, watch the video. I'm telling people that everywhere is calm and all of that. They said no, that the guy is trying to draw people's attention to Lekki protest so they can come and protest. You know, these people now, they're just scared of what happened during the NSAS protest, and they don't want such things to happen again. That's why they're trying to suppress us. Okay, now somebody now that will see on Twitter or in what have you, see them throwing tear gas, you don't want to go there because like, I feel go there now and something might happen, stray bullet meets me and all of that. So far they're just they're threatening most of them. I just feel it's not necessary. Just let these people do their protests. Just let them protest peacefully.
On a scorecard now, ratings from 1 to 10, how will you rate the protests now?
Well,
amongst or across the whole 36 states, because there were some disturbing images which we will not show here for policy's sake, where there was serious dynamite explosion and bloodshed in Maiduguri. Yeah, so on a scorecard level now, how will you rate this protest so far so good? Now, judging from the protesters, the security agencies, and of course, we're still coming to His Excellency, how he has also spontaneously reacted now.
Out of 100 or out of 10?
Out of 10.
How will I rate it?
Okay, let's start for the protesters on a scorecard now from 1 to 10. How will you rate the protesters? So far, so good.
Let's do 5 over 10.
5 over 10. Okay, on the part of the security agencies.
7 over 10.
7 over 10. But you saw them firing tear gases now, and you're actually stating that the security operatives now are performing better than even the protesters. So
you know that, like I said, some places the protest is actually peaceful in most places.
Okay.
Most of the security agencies, they actually they are supporting and protecting like that Songo Otana. I don't know if you saw the video of some of these policemen, they went to buy this pack of bottled water and they were sharing for protesters. Okay, you guys protest, as long as they don't create havoc or anything, they're with them. But in most states, like that of Maiduguri, whether you go out to protest or you don't go out to protest, like the Arabic Lodge now in Maiduguri, coppers were inside their lodge peacefully. They didn't go out to protest, and the team came to meet them inside the house.
Okay, now coming to that now, we see that the protest has been a region now like Port Harcourt, which we know, yes, is prone for viciousness. We saw them protesting calmly.
Exactly.
Now, compared now to their northern counterparts now, is it a case of literacy now, which is being plagued now between the northerner and the southerner? Because we see more violent protest was taking place in the north compared to the south now. Is it a case of literacy now? Who is more informed now concerning constitutionality now, concerning the protest?
I feel it's actually a case of illiteracy. Many people in the north, most of them are not educated.
Okay.
Then also, I remember during the last show, I said something that the result of this protest or the outcome, it depends on how the government handle it. If it's going to be peaceful, it depends on the government. If it's to get out of hand, it depends on the government. I said that it's this same leaders we have in this country. They are the one that support and sponsor most of these hijackers, both in the north. Some of them, you see them come outside to read scripted this and that they already told them or paid them to do. You see most of them coming outside to loot. They were all sent by our so-called leaders. Even the dynamite and whatever that were being shown and all of that. I just feel it's illiteracy because we already stated that we want to come out peacefully to state our demands, but they are looking for a means to justify their actions. So that's where this comes in. Like in the north now, the havoc was actually more in this based on illiteracy, because in Lagos now and other states, you saw how peaceful it was. An educated person will not go outside there and they are showing me, people are seeing me live and all of that, and I will be doing this thing. And an educated person will not do that. So I also feel it's based on illiteracy.
Okay, now normally what actually spurs any protest is because there are demands in place. There are grievances which need to be addressed. Yeah. And the grievances have been so much that people have been pushed and they are feeling their backs against the wall. There's nowhere to go, so they have to fight back. And the only civilized way in any democratic setting now to actually make your demands met is to protest peacefully. Now, there are demands now which these NBAD government's protest conveners have actually stipulated. Just to mention a few, one of them is hunger, cost of living, insecurity, cost of governance also. Now, they actually hammered on this, that children of public officers must also attend institutions in which the common man actually attends. Also, human capital development, electoral reforms, likewise constitutional and judicial reforms. We're going to pinpoint them one by one. Okay. If we fuse it in now, we see hunger and cost of living are intertwined. For instance, now, Gary, which used to be a poor man's food, has now become a rich man's food, making the rich also cry now. So a situation whereby cost of living now has been increased now and nothing has actually been done. Do you feel or think maybe these demands now, because even insecurity started as far back as the Jonathan era during United Nations when the building was bombed in Abuja. These things have not been addressed. Cost of governance is also another lamentation that has been on for various administrations. Now, we're going to focus later on this children's the policy which actually affects children attending public schools and human capital development. Electoral reforms is something which has been ongoing, and likewise constitutional and judicial reforms. Do you feel or think maybe these demands will actually be met?
No, I feel most of the demands are actually unrealistic, actually.
So it's a case of going round and round in circles? Yes,
they will just go round and round. They will not do anything. They won't do anything, because even our president already said it, like that subsidy, whatever, they cannot remove it. They can't bring back subsidy.
Now, coming to this children of public officers attending, I'm talking about high-ranking public officers here in political offices rather, and also human capital development. There are also mechanisms to actually make sure a country or a nation is moving forward, because if there's no human capital that are actually developed, a nation can't move forward, it can't develop. We see, most of the time, we see children in elementary schools in Asia, they are actually designing motherboards for one gadget or the other. While we here, we are not even in the practical phase in the tertiary institution, we're still on the theoretical base. Now, will this actually come to limelight? Because we see pictures of our senators or our House of Rep members, their children graduating over there. even glorified touts. Their children are actually graduates
Yes.
over there. So now the question now is, will this actually come to limelight at the end of the day, looking at the dilapidated institutions we have here?
It won't. Because they don't want to waste, they don't want to use money to better our academic this thing here. They feel probably the schools in Nigeria that we have in this country are not good enough for their children. So going outside is the best this thing for them. So that demand it cannot be met.
So as an end product of a tertiary institution now, will you say or state, because if we go back in the 80s, historically speaking, we had children of public officers who were actually attending these schools, but corruption and debasements actually made it end up in this dilapidated state, and then they found themselves there. You said you don't see that coming anytime soon. But it's like the educational sector now is like a building that needs to be refurbished.
Yes.
So if the system is refurbished, a total or drastic overhaul, don't you feel or think maybe they can come back? Because we see whites coming in here to actually scout for what we do not value. So by the time the government is actually sincere, let's take, for instance, slashing down cost of governance, whereby you're purchasing a $200 billion bulletproof vehicle, or maybe your wardrobe allowance is maybe close to 20 million. You know, your breakfast, lunch, and dinner is running into 5 million per. You have not even added dessert and also appetizers also on the side. Now, if the cost of governance can drastically be reduced and funds from these sources now channeled or funneled into other areas, won't these people begin to prick themselves conscience-wise, asking themselves some questions? Do you see Nigerian politicians now, or those in governance, actually asking themselves rhetorical questions as to what I'm doing, is it right? Am I acceding to these demands?
They don't have conscience. So someone without conscience will not sit down to ask themselves those questions. Yes, they don't have human sympathy.
Do you elaborate more?
You know that our government, our leaders, they are heartless. Okay, I don't know if you saw that during this protest, when people were coming out and said they want to protest and all of that, one of the leaders made a statement that while you're out there protesting now, we will be eating. That kind of person, does that person have conscience? They don't care. They don't care.
So you're talking from the youth point of view.
They don't care.
So might I ask now, is it a case of Jerry Rawlings of the 60s and 70s coming on board now to make sure that there's a total flushing of the old bags out of government, whereby new people are coming on board? That's
what people want. We need to flush out all these people. They should remove them. We don't need them, because this country, things will keep. I don't think things will get better soon. It will keep getting worse if people are not removed. If we don't flush or there's no reformation. Listen, if there's no reformation, things will keep getting worse.
But do you see the Nigerian youth-led protest being that of the Kenyan youth-led protest?
Oh yes, they are ready. Even this morning, I was just glancing through Twitter and I saw most of them. They already said, "Okay, we move again today in the name of the Father and of the Son and of the Holy Spirit," and they are ready. They already said that if by the 10 their demands are not met, it's going to be an indefinite strike. That they are ready to go extra mile. They even made mention of the Kenyan protests. They said that despite the fact that there were snipers, gunshots, and all of that in Kenya, the youth, they still continued and they got what they wanted. So these people, they already said this morning that they are ready to die. As long as the people will die, they know that people will die. As long as their demands are going to be met, they are ready to die for it, for the betterment of the country.
You're talking about death here. Do you see it as being more bloody than that of
NSAS? It's going to be bloody.
So it therefore means that we're in a half-time now, because they gave 10 days actually. Yes. So it's half-time now for the protest. The rest of the 5 days will now be the next 45 minutes. So if the indefinite now is going to be injury time, do you see it turning into more bloody protests?
People have started dying already. People have started dying. Just that dynamite alone in Maiduguri, I think they said 5 people died instantly. Some were seriously injured. Yes, people have started dying. So it's already bloody. So that's why, before I said something last week, before they said they are coming out to protest peacefully. But if they kill anybody or they arrest anybody, their demands will change. It's not going to be bad governance. It's going to be Tinubu must go. Okay. They stated it clearly last week already. So now people have started dying. So now they are ready that since people are already dying, let more people die. Definitely, for something to be good, things have to be sacrificed. So they're ready to die for the betterment of the country. It's going to be bloody. Okay,
going over now to the speech the president made on Sunday. Don't you think the speech was long overdue?
Yes, it was.
Okay.
After the long wait, it was empty. It was empty. The speech did not address the situation at hand. Because even I myself, I didn't go to church on Sunday because I really wanted to watch the broadcast. I wanted to go see.
Okay, you said it. You let me use your words now. You said it's empty. Atiku
empty.
Abubakar said it was hollow. The likes of Wole Soyinka and Falana said it was a brutal crackdown, meaning that it never even addressed even any of the demands which were met.
It didn't address
So
it.
that means you're tilting towards what these elder statements have actually said. Now, let me hear from your own view now.
Okay, how you just come? People have been protesting. They've protested for 4 days. Okay, you said you're going to address us on Sunday morning by 7 a.m. And we're all waiting. Even I myself, I didn't want to miss the broadcast. I didn't go to church on Sunday. Okay, let's see what he has to say. Only for you to come, you are telling us about your achievements, saying okay, this protest or whatever is other people in the party that are supporting this one, sponsoring them and all of that. That was not necessary. Unless you now said, okay, it's painful though, but the subsidy cannot be brought back despite the how painful. Like, it didn't even sympathize with us. Even the some people that were hit with the stray bullet and all of that, it didn't address the security, this harassment and all of that, the looting. It didn't even talk about anything. It was empty. Because I felt, okay, as a leader, your children have been crying. Okay, now like me now as a child coming to my father, daddy, they said they will beat us, so if we not pay school fees and all of that. I think my father needs to say something like, oh, we don't have the money now, it's also time, let them know that it's also time, this will be done and all of that. There was nothing. Nothing. So instead of my father telling me that kind of thing.
So are you trying to say now that there was no assurance from Mr. President?
You are just telling us that you guys are working, very soon we'll see your result. When are we going to start seeing results? When most people already died of hunger? When are we going to see the results?
But oftentimes you will agree that when a woman takes in, let me borrow the statement from where the protest began.
Okay.
An analogy here now where it's stated whereby a woman would take in and for the period of 9 months, she has to go for the antenatal and some other care and some other, her dietary needs to even change. Why? Because the baby needs to be okay. Even the carrier who is the mother now needs to be okay. Now, a situation whereby she is now in that labor room, passing through that labor phase. Will you agree that Nigeria is passing through that labor phase? And eventually, there are times when even the mother has actually even delivered the baby. There are no good tidings, but bad tidings. Eventually, if Nigeria comes out from this delivery phase, would there be good tidings or bad tidings?
Bad tidings, I guess.
You sound pessimistic. Why?
Are we really going to come out from this phase? When are we going to come out from this phase? I don't see it happening anytime soon. Because Nigeria, the way, like, since I've been born till now, since I was born till now, there's always one problem or the other. Today, if it's not bad governance, tomorrow it might be something else, maybe social injustice, different. We will still pass through many things. There's no year that you don't hear or say, oh, we want to protest. Even these protests, I feel that most of these protests should have happened since, but they've been bearing it. But now that people, now the hunger, like, it's too much. The cost of things, like, that's tripled. The market price of things has tripled. So that's why now they've had enough. Let's come out and do this. So the 9-month course that you're talking about, I even feel that this is not 9 months again. It has exceeded 9 months. This is 12 months already. You know, there's some children that should I say it passes 9 months sometimes. Some women carry some women carry their children for 11, 12 months, spiritual problem. And all of that, like,
okay, let's not deviate. Let's take a cue from what Shehu Sani actually said. Okay. Shehu Sani made a statement regarding to Mr. President as the father of protests in Nigeria.
Oh yes.
Particularly in the 90s, where he was kicking against the reforms against the IBBs and even the Abachas. Now, the NSAS people who are still in incarceration, do you see them being released anytime soon because of this protest now?
I don't think they will release them, because if they wanted to release them, they would have released them already. Because, you know, all these people, our leaders, they see them as a threat. If they release those people today now, you know, many of them will still join this protest. They will still do more things. So I don't think they are going to release those people. They might have even killed some of them.
So
how are you sure they are still alive?
Would there be possible intel that these people are capable of influencing the protest? Why? Because they are heavyweights. Okay. What do you say with the likes of Shore in this revolution now? What's his take now?
I think he's against Tinubu.
Okay.
He's against Tinubu. Shore does not even like Tinubu. He does not like him. So this revolution now, you know that I don't think it's most likely the sponsor, like that author. Those people that wear yellow, this and say that is revolution now.
Yeah.
So many of them are even sponsoring this protest. They are against the leadership and the governance. And they also want a reform.
Well, it's a wrap today on Viewpoint, where we discover perspectives and embrace dialogue. I had with me on the show Precious Momodu. Like I always say, that will be all for now. We look forward to the next 5 days on the next phase of the protest in the end bad governance. We keep our fingers crossed on the outcomes of the protest at the end of the day. You do well to subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us across various social media platforms. Thanks for watching.